Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at the Diamond First Baptist Church site. So we're going to start by logging in, and so to do that you'll go to the URL and you'll add /wp-admin. It'll take you to a login screen and you'll put in your username and password that we've given you. And if you need those resent or updated, just let us know and we can reset them and get those for you. So once you get logged in, you'll see this page, and I want to draw your attention to the dashboard, which is in this black column. So for this video, we're going to go through the pertinent elements of your site, which appear over here. So we'll just kind of start at the top and work our way down, and then I usually have another tab open so we can see the site from the front end, and my internet's moving a little bit slow today and kind of loading this blurry image instead of the clear image, but I believe I've checked with my coworkers and this is just a local issue with my computer. So that's just something going on in the video, not something long-term wrong with the site. So we'll start with updates. Under updates, this is where your plugins and WordPress theme can be updated. We actually take care of this for all of our clients, and you never have to worry about updating plugins, or you can select them all and update them if you believe that'll be helpful. But we take care of this for everybody. I just like pointing it out since it has this sort of red item here that makes it look like it's important. After that's posts. For posts, we can create a blog post function for your site, but you guys aren't currently using this. So if you ever do want to create a blog, let us know and we can work on getting that set up. I don't think this is in use anywhere on the site. No, so no need to worry about that. Media, this is important because this is where all of your images, PDFs, anything like that is housed. Right now there's not a whole lot here, but as you grow and as more things are added, there'll be more items here. And so in order to add new media, you can always do that through the page or wherever you're working on something for the site. But you can also click in Add Media here and click Add New. You can drag and drop files or select files. And then within each item, you can edit the image. So if you need to crop, rotate any part of the item, you can do that here. You would just always click save once you make those edits. Also important to note is that each image and each PDF file has their own unique URL. So if there's a PDF file that you need to upload that you want people to link to, you actually can grab the URL for the item, and this is, you copy it to the clipboard, and then each item, like I said, has its own unique URL, and so this would load a PDF if that item were a PDF. So just for instance, you can slide through the different images, you can delete them as needed, delete permanently, edit more details, any of this type of things you can edit here. And that's pretty much that. But again, if you ever need to add media through a page, there will be a button and an option to do so. Up next is forms. This is in use on your site in a couple different ways. So you've got just a basic get in touch form. This has name, email, phone, how can we help you? Pretty basic and standard fields. So basically, if you want to add additional fields, you come over here to add fields, select whatever field you need. Maybe it's a regular field, maybe it's an advanced field, and you can drag and drop it wherever you need it to go, and we'll add a field to the form. So it would be this form right here. So obviously if you adjust this there might be some styling changes that might need to come with that. So if you adjust this and it doesn't look right, just let us know. I think another important thing to note is that for each form, under settings, you can go to confirmations and notifications. Notifications, this is who is receiving these form entries. So if I click in here, it's going to tell me who is receiving the form entries. So it looks like whoever is set as the admin email for this site is the person receiving these entries, and this can be updated to be whoever it needs to be. So then the from email is coming from no reply. We just said that because for every form, the forms need to come from your URL. This part doesn't matter. This can be anything. And ultimately, this is just going into your inbox. This isn't going into any visitor or any member's inbox. This is the entry from the form that's going to your inbox. Then under confirmations, this is what's going to pop up when someone fills out the form. And so there's kind of a default here, and you can adjust this and make any changes. And once you make any changes, just click save, and that'll be kind of the case with pretty much everything as far as forms. Then you'll go to, if you want to take a look at what this would look like from the front end, if you've made edits, you can always click preview. It's going to give you a little preview. Obviously, it's without styling from the site, so it looks a little different, but you can kind of see how it's laid out there. In addition to that, you have a couple other forms that look like there are no entries, so perhaps they might not be in use anywhere on the site. But the same idea, you've got different fields, and this can be like, looks like a sign-up form for your children's ministry. So if you want to create a new form, you can just drag and drop whatever fields you need. It's kind of intuitive if you're looking at the different fields. A lot of people use these for VBS, for different seminars or women's gatherings or things like that. They use different forms like this. So if you want to add a new form, you would just click add new. It's going to ask for a title and a description. You don't need to put a title there, but then you'll click create form, and it's going to start out with no fields. So basically you can go through, typically you'll use these advanced fields and just kind of drag them over. Okay, so I need to get this person's name, I need their phone, I need their address, and then within each item you can click into it and edit it. So okay, well, we don't need country, or maybe you just want the state, so you can get rid of everything but state. Okay, well, I need to add, let's see, maybe radio buttons. So you need people to be able to select yes or no on a question. So then I can ask my question. I click in, ask my question here. Then I can edit my choices. And then you've got your form. And again, you can click save once you make the changes you've got. Click preview, that'll kind of show you how it looks, and then you'll click embed, and this will give you, you can create a new page, you can just copy the shortcode, or on any page where you're going to add the form, there'll be a button to do so. And again, you can go to settings, notifications, and change the form notification to whatever you want it to be. And again, you would want to change this from email. Also, for each form, you can find the entries. So obviously they're going to your inbox, but you can also click entries here and you can view the form entries here. And it'll show you the name. Looks like there's some spam. And we can take a look into, maybe that looks like kind of a lot of spam. Okay, well, I'll take a look into that once we are done. And I like to add the entry date so I know how frequently you're getting this spam. Oops, I didn't click save. So I want to be able to see the entry date in these columns, and I don't know why this is always so hidden. So it looks like a decent amount of spam. So, okay, I'm going to look into that as soon as I finish this video. But that's where you can get your form entries. Then if you, let's say, have some sort of meeting or program where people are coming, if you want to import or export your form entries, you can do so here. You just click what form you want, what fields you want. I typically just do all of them. And then you can add a date range, or if you don't put a date range, then all entries will be exported, and then you'll get a CSV file from your entries there. So that's pretty much everything with your forms. If you run into questions as you're creating one, just let us know. We'd be happy to help. Up next is pages. This is going to take you through both the home page and all internal pages. I'm actually going to go back to forms really quick and delete that form that we don't need. And that's just trash here. And then it's going to show up in a trash folder here, and I'm going to delete it from here as well because we don't want it. So I can either restore it or delete it permanently, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. All right, so under pages, we're going to have your home page and all other internal pages. So let's go ahead and talk through the home page really quick, and we'll go through how that is set up, and then we'll go through some of the other pages. So for the first part of the page, you have your logo and menu over here. This is actually edited elsewhere. So this isn't going to show up on the page functionality of your homepage. The first thing is going to be your Revolution slider. This just has a short code, and typically what I say in these training videos is if there's a short code, that means it's edited somewhere else over here. So this is edited through Slider Revolution. So we don't need to worry about anything here. The short code is loading it from somewhere else. On this, it looks like we had a button row, but we got rid of it. And so if we wanted to bring it back, you would just click this eyeball and it would appear, but it looks like we got rid of that. So we'll decollapse this section. We've got latest messages, and you've got two sides to the editor here. And if I look at this text side of the editor, I can see that this is loading from, we've got a YouTube feed, I believe, from your YouTube channel using a plugin that we've used called ElfSite. So we've got this loading for you. So there's really nothing that needs to be done here either. If you end up needing help with this or you have issues, just let us know. And then the button is hyperlinked to take you to this preaching page. Then under that, we have info boxes, and there's two info boxes, which looks like a picture, or maybe there's just one info box. Yeah, okay, so just one info box, which has your picture here. And again, if you need to add media, you can click add media here, or I can edit this image. I can replace it. I can change the size of it. And then on the right half, you have this wording here. And then again, you have a button that's hyperlinked. So all that can be edited here. And then this width of this section is 50%. And then we have the gravity form width of the section is 50% here. So let's just say for the sake of learning, you wanted to add a new section. So we can add a content section. Let's just do a standard page section. So I can change the size of this text. I can center it, left align, right align it. I can bold, italicize it. I can make it a button over here. I can hyperlink. Or I can edit the hyperlink. I can choose one of my own internal pages. So maybe the contact page if I prefer. I can make the link open in a new tab if I want. And then I can choose the width of the page section. For this one, we'll just go ahead and do 100%, so full width. And then in the background, well, let's say we want to add, obviously this is going to look really terrible. It's just for the purpose of showing you how to add a picture. So let's say we'll add this one. And it's centered. I clicked on it, centered. Okay, so in the background, let's maybe add an image in the background as well. So let's just use this one. And we want to be able to see the text, so let's add a background color, which, let's say something kind of like a gray, and then I can, oops, let's choose something, oh my goodness. I don't know why that did that. Okay. So let's choose background color, okay. And we don't need to do anything here. Let's just see how that looks. Oh, I had the image highlighted maybe. Let's do. So let's just do the image as the background. Let me stop messing with that for a minute. It's taking a really long time. My internet at my house is going pretty slow today, so waiting for that to update. Okay, so then we'll go over here. I'll refresh the page, and there you have it. There's the picture in the background. There's your information. So obviously I might look at that and say, okay, well, that looks really bad, so let's take the picture away, and let's go with the color thing I was thinking about doing. Okay, so let's do this instead, see how that looks, and then I'll go to the front end. See if it looks better. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, so there we go. And if I want to grab this color code that I've used here, I can grab it and use it somewhere else. So I can copy and paste this color code. And again, if I want to just hide this section, I can click toggle layout and I can bring it back, or I can remove this altogether, which is what we want to do since this is your site and that doesn't look very good. So then for all other internal pages, basically you've got just kind of copy on the pages. So you can just go into the different pages. Oops, of course I picked giving, which just I think has a embedded form, so nothing that you need there. But for instance, some of these other pages, you've got your info here, and you can just edit this. So this can be edited just like if it were a Word document. So, you can, like I said, bold, italicize, change the size of your text, align it, bullet things, hyperlink things, change the color. You can format them as a button if you want to make a button. So if you were going to make a button, you would hyperlink and format it as a button. If you've created a form and need to add that somewhere, then you click Add Form. You'll select the form you need to select. Don't need the title or the description, and insert the form. It'll give you the short code. Again, if you need to add media, it'll give you that option here as well. So obviously we don't want that. And so all your other internal pages, I think, function basically in that same way, where there's just kind of copy that you can just edit. But if you want to add an additional section and maybe make the background a different color, like we just did, then again, you would click Add Content Section, just add the standard page section, put your copy here, whatever you want to write, and then change the background to a different color, and then you'll have kind of that two-tone, two sections piece to maybe break up some information on your page. Beyond that, Foo Gallery, I don't think we're using anywhere. I'm just going to click into it and see really quick. Nope. But you can create photo and image galleries here. It's pretty intuitive. So if you ever want to add images, I would suggest using the Foo Gallery to add images to your site. WP Bruiser is just a kind of like firewall that we have. Genesis is your theme. Appearance, there's two things here that are important to talk about: widgets and menus. Widgets is going to house the header and footer of your site. So anything that appears up here and anything that appears on every page down here. So if these times ever change, or the address or phone number ever changes, that's where this is going to be located. So you've got these different sections. In the header, you have your logo. We've got the service times and the phone number here. And again, this is edited just the same way that the pages were. So they're hyperlinked and they're not. Maybe we did some styling there. So those aren't set as buttons there. Then the menu is here, but we'll actually edit the items in the menu over here. Not using sidebars, but we are using a footer. And again, these are your different times for your services and the information here for your location. Anytime you make any changes here, just be sure to click Save in the bottom right. So that's where that's located. Then over here in menus, we've got a social media footer menu, it looks like. So this would be social media items. So if any of these ever change, you can change the custom link to, if your Facebook URL changes, if you don't want this to go to the contact page, if you don't want this to go to your Google Map, or if that changes, or if your phone number changes, all of that can be changed here. Again, click Save if anything needs to be updated. Then for that main menu, this is all of your main menu items. And so since these serve as just a label and they don't link anywhere, we've put the hashtag item here so that we can get them added. So if you want to add just a label, you'll add custom link, and you have to put something here. It won't let you add it without it. So that's why it has that. But then once it's added, you can remove it. And then once you've got it, you can drag it. It can become a submenu item. I can change the label to something else. And again, I can drag and rearrange these however I want, and it will show up. And I'm going to go ahead and remove, and you'll just click Save if you make any changes. And that's how you edit the menu. Plugins, this is what everything that's on your site is using a plugin. So if you want to add a new plugin but have questions about it, please feel free to ask us and we can give suggestions. Under users, this is where you'll update your password. So if you click into your account, you can edit your password. And if you want to add another admin user, you would click add new, and just make sure you give them the role of administrator, and that will set them up, and you can tell them to log in the same way you do at wp-admin and give them their credentials, and then they can change their password to whatever they want. So we're going to pass over a few of these items. They're not really in use, or they are in use, but nothing that you really need to adjust. And then I don't think we're using this accordion. No, we're not. But accordion is exactly what it sounds like. If you click into the item, it will collapse or decollapse. So a lot of people use these for FAQ pages. So if you do want to create an accordion, you can kind of play around with this and add that to your site, and it'll be added through shortcode that you paste into the page. And finally, slider revolution. I think we can skip over the other items. If I click this little pencil, it'll take me to our slider that is loading on the home page here. And so I can go to the global layer, and this is where my text is loading. So if I double click on this, I can change this to say whatever I want. You can change the style, the size, the font, the color, anything like that. And then plan your visit. If you click on actions, simple link, this is going to take you to, it's linking to the demo site. So I'll update that for us. So this can be linked to wherever. If you want to change this, and if you want to change the copy on it, you can click content and change the copy here, or action, simple link. And we want to go to, I can just go ahead and do it for us. Plan your visit, I think. So we won't actually want it to be the right one. And it's counterintuitive, but you just X out of it and then click save. So this is your global layer. This appears on every slide you have on the site. If I go to the slides individually here, then I can change out the background. And this is the image, where you find the image. So again, the different slides, if I want to change out the background, go to Media Library. Go here, background, Media Library. If I want to add a new slide, I can click Add Slide, Blank Slide. It's going to be blank, but it will house this global layer because this is going to appear on every single page. So on this new one, I can add in the background, it's transparent. I can give it a color, or I can go to image and go to the media library, upload my file, and select it. If I decide, I don't really need this slide here for now, I can make it disappear for a bit, or I can just totally delete it. And we're going to delete it. And that should be good there. So that's how you make edits to the slider. Again, if you want to edit this global layer, you can click into here, and I edited this item, plan your visit, and this should be linked correctly now. Yep. Okay. And one final thing we have in place on the site that I think is important to note is WP Rocket. This actually saves the cache in people's computer when they visit your site, and it helps the site load faster. But once you make changes, you just want to click clear and preload cache, and that way all the changes take place and people who are loading the site don't load a cached version, they load the new version with the new updates that you've just made. And I think the only other thing I wanted to show is that if you ever want to create a new page, the add new button is here, and I would just give the page a title, click add content section, standard page section, and then you can start adding things. And if you click add content section, you can add a button row, info boxes. You can kind of play around with these other items, but mostly what you'll want to be doing is adding the standard page section where you can start adding this information. Again, you can change out the background, you can change out the background color, and you'll click publish when you're ready, and it'll give the URL up here, which you can also edit. I just wanted to make sure you saw that. So you can also, this page is a draft right now, so if I click quick edit, I can actually make it published and publish it and click update, Or from here, I can trash and delete this page. And again, it shows up in this trash folder over here where I can restore it or delete it permanently. And again, you can let me go back to pages. If you want, you can click edit, quick edit, and you can make the page a draft if you want to take it off the site for just a little bit, bring it back later. And then again, you would go to appearance and menus, and that's where you would add it to the menu and just clear your cache when you're done, and you should be ready to rock and roll. So that's most everything on the site. If you run into questions that you are not sure of the answer to, please feel free to reach out. But this should get you a good start in editing and adding things on your site.